What is the doctrine of the Trinity? The doctrine of the Trinity is a core doctrine to Christianity, and it is crucial for understanding God and for understanding we, ourselves, who are made in the image of this God. The doctrine of the Trinity raises all kinds of questions, and it can be very confusing. And remember, we are attempting to describe the indescribable God, the God who is beyond human understanding. At its core, the doctrine of the Trinity is this: there is one God who exists eternally in three persons, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Said differently, God is one in essence, three in person. Now you understand when I say person, I don't mean that God is human. God is not human, but God has personhood, and each member of the Trinity is distinct. God is one, and yet three. The word Trinity does not actually appear in the Bible, but is intimated everywhere. Even in the creation account in Genesis, God says, "Let us make mankind in our image." Who's God talking to? Scholars believe this may be the implication of the Trinity, that God from the very beginning exists in mutual community, that God exists in community in God's very nature. Let us make humans in our image. The Bible speaks of the Father as God, Philippians 1:2. It speaks of Jesus as God, Titus 2:13, and speaks of the Holy Spirit as God, Acts 5. Each member of the Trinity is fully God. There is no member of the Trinity that is less God than any other. They all are God, and yet they are distinct. Right? The Father sent the Son into the world, John 3:16. So the Father and the Son can't be exactly the same. They have to be distinct in person. And then when the Son goes back to be with the Father, John 16, the Father and the Son send the Spirit. So they can't all be the same. The Spirit has got to be distinct as well. It might be easier for us to think of the Father and the Son as persons or personhood, but the Holy Spirit seems like it's a different category, that it's more vague. But listen, the Holy Spirit is a person as well. And the Bible always talks about the Spirit with he, never with it. The Holy Spirit is not some vague, impersonal force. It's not a ghost or a vapor. The Holy Spirit, full member of the Trinity, one with the Godhead, and yet distinct on his own. Colossians says of Jesus, that in him the fullness of deity dwells in bodily form. Right, in John's Gospel, chapter 1, we read about the Word, that's Jesus. In the beginning, the Word was with God, and the Word was God. Well, which is it? Was Jesus with God, or was Jesus God? Yes, that is the mystery of the Trinity that we're talking about right here. It may have its fullest expression in the words of Jesus in Matthew 28:18, when he said, "Go and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit." That's the Trinity. So the Trinity helps us understand the nature of God, and it helps us to understand ourselves, because we are made in the nature of this God. And that is in part why we crave community and oneness, because we are made in the image of God that exists in community. Inside the Godhead is this mutual deference to each other, this desire to delight the other, and we are made like that, and that's why we are made for relationships. That's why we desire oneness with other people as well. It also explains why we desire mission. The Trinity is essentially missional. God, the Father, sends the Son. God and Son send the Spirit, and the Father, Son, and Spirit send you. The Trinity helps us understand the nature of God, the nature of ourselves in our community, and in our mission. And that is a snapshot of the foundational doctrine of the Trinity.